All right, it's 5:30. I'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to start by acknowledging that this meeting is respectfully held on the traditional territory of the Sycas First Nation, on whose land we live, work, and play. We have an agenda circulated with one additional item. Item 8.1 will be notification of the 2025 to 27 revenue requirements application for PNG West. Would somebody like to move that we adopt as amended? Move amended. Second. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, we have the minutes from the April 14th, April 16th meetings and April 22nd meetings. Would somebody like to move adoption? Move. Seconded. All in favor? Carried. Don't have any bylaws, so we'll move on to delegations. 5.1, NeighbourLink.
Assuming I stand here.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Margaret Hall. I'm sure most of you do. I've been involved with NeighbourLink for quite a number of years, and just wanted to come and kind of give an update as to what we're doing, and planned to do this about a year ago, and then we got in the middle of building or buying, or not buying, moving to a new building. And so time passed and here I am. So do you have a copy paper? Okay. So that just generally explains a little bit about NeighbourLink and our various programs that we run through NeighbourLink. And I believe, Kevin, you spoke to Sheila recently about the food bank. And I made note on here, our last, so this would have been April food bank, we gave out 71 hampers for 111 adults and 32 children. And it really hasn't changed a great deal over the last year or two. Maybe, it's yet to come. Mm-hmm. But the one thing we have really noticed, though, of course, like everybody, is the extreme increase in cost of food, especially the perishables. We get a lot of donations for all the non-perishables, but every month we have to buy, whether it's the eggs, the produce, milk, that kind of thing. And we're really noticing a difference in price that way. Our Act 2 thrift store, of course, is our biggest revenue, internal at least, revenue source. Also, I should mention with the food bank that we are BC and Canada Food Bank. So we are the recognized food bank for the area. So if there's any grants, funding, sometimes it's food that we might receive. One time we received a whole pallet of tuna. And, so we get our portion of that. And also, if we get more food than we need, for example, a couple of months ago, Independent Grocery gave us a whole pallet of yogurt that they weren't able to market for whatever reason, and was more than we could use. So we contacted the schools and they included it as part of their hot lunch program. So, one way or another, we work with other groups as needed. So Act 2 thrift store, we've got at least 25 volunteers that work in there. And and it has just, whether it was the closing of the other thrift store here, our location, we're not really sure, but we have really increased our sales through there. And the donations, I mean, I don't know if you follow us at all on Facebook, but we're constantly having to say, whoa, no donations for the next while, because we've got no place to put it. So it has done very well. So, and then there's various other programs. I won't go through them all. You can ask questions if you've got any questions, but the farmers market coupon program is an interesting one too. It's put on by the BC Health Department, I think, and it's run through the through the, well, it runs through us through the farmer's market. So we're the designated person to run the coupon program that runs through the farmer's market. And this gives low income people with small young families, they can get this coupon book that's worth about $20, I think it is, every week to spend at the farmer's market. So that's it's been slow to get the funding this year. I think it was a 3-year program, and they had to redo the funding, and so it's a bit slow this year, but we got word that it's going. So anyway, we moved into our new building, the old Scott's Grill, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. And our intention from the start was to purchase this building. And so we're in the process right now of, coming up with a price. I mean, obviously what we want to pay and the owner wants to sell are slightly different. So we're trying to meet in the middle there somewhere. That's a surprise, isn't it? So we have 2 basic things that we wanted to know as part of our purchasing. And one, of course, is the taxes. Right now, the way the taxes are, it would cost us about $900 a month. And I didn't know whether you have an actual policy for nonprofits or it's on a case-by-case basis. And I don't necessarily have to have an answer here today, but obviously it's a big factor in our purchasing as to what we're going to be able to, you kind of have to start at the end what you can afford and then work up from there.
So I can jump in on that one right there. We won't be discussing it here today, but staff can follow up with you on the application to be exempted.
So that's the process, is an application that we would fill out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's basically what we needed to know. And then the next thing that I put down, we had just planned when we bought this, when we buy the building, that the patio area we would turn into storage. That building looks large, but it's actually less space for us, certainly as far as the thrift store goes, than what we had before. And mostly it's storage and so we put up a garden shed out there, and we've been using that to store things. But in talking to the owner of the building, he said that he had been told that that was not, and all he could put there was a temporary structure.
So I'll jump in there again, Margaret.
Okay.
That would be a question for building inspection, not for council. We wouldn't.
Okay. And so how do we get to, or you can let me know how.
567-4711, ask for building inspection.
Okay.
No, just that's,
Okay.
or walk in here and ask if
Okay.
Ben's in.
So you don't deal with easements and that kind of thing here. It's all through.
Not at the preliminary level.
Okay,
sure.
maybe it come back.
Yeah.
Here. Okay, that makes sense. So that was basically, at this point, we haven't got to a point, and once we get to a price, then we're already looking for grants, but we are going to be looking for some community involvement. And so we would hope that we would have the district's support of that. I would like to see our fundraising similar to what we did with the pool or the bus for the manor, where you kind of involve the community and start a fundraising, but we haven't got quite to that point yet. So does anybody else have any questions at all about NeighbourLink? Anything you always wanted to know and was afraid to ask?
We'll go Councillor Frankel first.
Thanks, Margaret. Thanks for the presentation. Do you find your traffic is better, worse?
Oh, it's better. It's considerably better. And it'll be interesting to see in the summertime, but in the winter, it's incredible how many things go on at the high school and the hockey rink, and it is just absolutely buzzing there.
Good.
It's not what we expected. We kind of were unsure as to how the traffic flow was going to work, but it's
Good.
Great.
Thanks.
Councillor Martins.
Yeah, thanks. Great presentation. I was actually thinking the same thing as Councillor Frankel. I just wondered if the new position or the new location was better. I'm glad to hear that it is, and I hope you're successful in your purchase there too. And thanking you for a good presentation too. Lots of good information in the flyer here, and I think, you know, as time goes by, that it seems like the need for this keeps growing too. So good for
Yes.
you guys, and
Okay.
you know, hopefully it all works out really well for sure.
Thank you. I did also attach a letter to the email I sent to Angus. I don't know whether he's passed it on. This is the letter that I write one up every November, and I send it out to all our donors. So I'm assuming all of you received it, but if you didn't, maybe you will next year. But it gives a lot more detail on each of the programs. So read through it, and we're a busy place there. We were counting up the other day. We've got over 100 volunteers that work through that place. So a busy place.
That's great. And as you said, I'll just jump in there. I did meet with Sheila recently. I have all the stats here. If councillors want to go over it, we can go over that sometime in their own time. And that's just would appreciate, and said this to Sheila too, please, if there are any noticeable changes in the amount of use, so we appreciate knowing
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
We will keep you updated.
Councillor Vandola.
Thanks, Margaret. That was great. Just a question. You identified the number of Pampers you guys have worked on, 71, and for 111 adults and 32 children. Is that number higher or about the same?
It hasn't changed a great deal.
Okay.
No, it's actually a little bit lower than it was last month. And so we haven't seen at this point any big increase. We do notice, though, that more people, we have our Wednesday lunch, and people will ask if there's anything extra, if they can take some home. Our mom and dad's program, they put on a big dinner every Thursday night. Again, people are asking there, is there anything left over we can take home? So there's people that are, you know, more concerned about where their next meal is coming from, but it hasn't reflected onto the food bank yet.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Okay.
Margaret.
Thank you.
Okay, Doug.
Doug McKay with Vanderhoof Pickleball Association. Basically, been playing at the Gospel. We're looking to see if we can use the arena for free over the summer months. As you can see this is part of our group. It's all adults, varying ages. There's other municipalities that are in favor of doing things like this to help out. Short and sweet. We're hoping to have the outdoor courts this year, but they weren't in place yet, so that's been postponed to at least next year, to my understanding. I don't know if you guys got this from the email.
Yep.
Okay, can all look through that when you feel. That's for actually more later on, probably, Kevin.
Yeah. It was.
Well, there was a lot of work put into it from
Yeah.
Pickleball BC, so the sport's growing, and then the nice part is it's co-ed, it's all ages. We did use the arena a few years ago, some controversy out of it anyhow, but you all know that we left it the way we found it. So pretty much, I think right now for the first quarter, we had 40 paid members, over 100 on the list, plus it's growing. Some of us go play in Fraser Lake still too, or go to Prince George once in a while. Then we have our own pickleball insurance. So we have to have that to play at the Gospel, and you're crazy not to. For $13 a year, you're covered on any court in British Columbia. So we make sure that everybody has insurance, so that part is covered.
Councillor Bowman.
Well, thanks a lot, Doug. How many active members do you have right now?
There was 40 in the first quarter. So you got 3 courts, that's 12 players. In the arena, we could probably set up 5 courts. So right now if you got, 12 players playing, you're sitting for a half hour. Well, that's no fun. And then one, you're going to get hurt because you sit there too long, you seize up, right? We're getting older, right? Yeah, yeah. Well, we do have Doc on our side, so we're okay there.
Any other questions? Councillor Frankel.
So, how many courts would be in the arena?
I believe we could fit 5 because Fraser Lake, I know yeah, maybe 6
Okay.
if we squeezed, yeah.
Okay, that's number one. What was the amount of insurance that you guys have? Like a dollar value, million, 2 million?
It's 2 million, I
Okay.
believe. And then it's just through Pickleball Canada is what it is, Brian.
Okay. And Doug, yes, it's disappointing that, you know, we've backed the outdoor courts off till next year. But is there anything that we can do as a community and in your association if we look at this request and say, I'm not predetermining anything, but are we able, and maybe this is a question for staff, but are we able to say, like we used to do the ball diamonds? Are we able to prepare the site with volunteer or equipment that lowers our costs somewhere else down the line?
We offered that last year.
Okay,
Dave Phillips and I sat in here and we offered all
yeah,
that.
I'm asking again.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
We want to get this happening.
Okay. Staff will have to tell me whether they.
Yeah.
But.
Good to see you with the shovel too, Brian.
Yeah, no, it's not. But thanks, Doug.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Any other questions? Perfect. Well, this will go. Through,
If you want to make a resolution to send that.
will probably be for the request at hand. You should have a report come back. Yeah. Do you want to make that?
Sure. I'd like to get the decision figured out, but we need that cost of if we were, you know, if we were to have janitorial or whatever staff there, and I know you probably don't need it, but we'd need to know what that cost is. So I move that we would make a decision or get staff to bring that report back to us for the next council meeting. Okay.
And if any of you guys want to come out and try it there, I believe Shannon is bringing in a clinic on June 7th and 8th. And sign up and be a member. Come try your hand at the game.
I'd love to.
It is in fact the fastest growing sport in North America. Globally, Australia and New Zealand, it's growing rapidly in Britain, Southern Hemisphere, so it is the fastest growing sport. So, and as Doug says, we would really like to get people started young, and we know that we have, I think Garth Jarman might be our oldest, but there's a wide range of ages that keep taking off. So that's why we.
Well, there is a program right now through Pickleball BC where Franklin Sports has donated $30,000 to equipment and everything else. And the problem, like everything in this province, is Vancouver Island, Vancouver and the Okanagan have that all tied up. But we are working on trying to get that up here. If we got nowhere to put the kids to play, what do you do? So, but that is part of Pickleball BC's program right now, training the youth, which it's a cheaper sport to get into than a lot of sports and gets the kids moving.
Just before we go to Councillor Van Dolo, I will just point out we have a motion on the floor with no seconder. So, okay, go ahead, Councillor Van Dolo.
Thanks, Doug. So I know I've read a bunch of articles about how pickleball is gaining momentum internationally, and I just want to, what's the appeal? Like, what's the draw? Why is there so many people interested in this sport internationally?
I grew up playing squash and tennis, and I thought pickleball was absolutely game for old people, for cities, for people who don't have, you know, for not very good players. I started playing it and immediately got addicted to it. It copes to all levels, from beginners to advanced to intermediate, and everybody can play and enjoy it and have fun and have exercise doing it. Now, it's not as good an aerobic workout as, say, playing tennis or or going to the gym for an hour, but certainly I get a really good sweat. I feel tired. So anybody can play it, and you can play at all sorts of different levels, and there's ways of rating where you play stuff. So the appeal is that it's a very, very fun. I've never ever thought I'd say it in my life.
And a good
I'm on
social,
that side.
Yeah.
and a great social event, because myself, there's a bunch of people here that I never knew before, and we all lived in the same town.
Yeah.
So there you go, you get all
Yeah.
walks of life, right?
It's also one that's not as hard on your body as tennis or squash or something else.
And it's cheap. You know, you can paddle in a ball.
Yeah.
That's a.
Better runners.
And a smile.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, guys.
Okay, and then you just get a hold of me then?
Yeah.
Kevin, that's how it works?
Yeah,
Okay.
staff will get hold of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, good night.
Jake. Oh, no, from, oh. Well, that was, which, was it Meinke?
Yeah.
Okay, back on track. 6.1, arena fees amendment bylaws coming back for adoption. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move that.
Seconder? Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. 6.2, summary amendment bylaw, 1285 is coming back for adoption.
Move to adopt.
Seconder? Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. 6.3, small business cardboard recycling fees repeal bylaw, 1286 is coming back for adoption.
Move to adopt.
Seconder? All, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. 6.4, J&T Painting and Refinishing Limited. We have a recommendation there.
I'll move the recommendation.
Seconder?
Yeah, I'll say.
Any discussion?
And this was all, the insurance was approved and the regional district made the changes needed and all that for that to happen?
Yeah.
Agricultural land.
Yeah, ALR. That was all approved by them, just, oh, well, that's good for
Until
sure.
March 30th, 2030,
Or his retirement?
or his retirement, whichever comes first.
So you can't renew, can't put
He
somebody
cannot
else in
renew
there.
and he can't sell the business.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, thanks.
And he's away.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Carried. 6.5. This is a big one. Did you want to speak to it? Well, Rod, who's taking it?
I don't have both pages.
It's the budget pre-approvals.
So this is, as you know, we haven't finalized the budgetary process, so, but these projects were previously brought to council's attention and tentatively approved. So, you know, we don't want to lose our edge on the construction season. So even though we still have to pass a 5-year financial plan and the budget bylaw, we're asking for pre-approval on these projects, all of which were discussed during budget discussions.
Perfect. You have a recommendation? Did you want to talk differently, Councillor Franco? Okay.
Here comes the $1 million question, the staff. Some of these we probably have known that we may not have been successful in some grants already. And that some of them maybe pre-approved by taking it out of a different reserve account. And that's the community forest. Do we know which ones those are so I can highlight them? Because I want to just figure out how much we understood that before, but we didn't have a dollar number. If we're close to a dollar number, that would be great.
So all of these are being funded by through the Northwest Resource Funding Agreement.
RBA.
So, and the thing that's not listed here that's going to impact the community forest reserves is the fiber optic
Okay.
build.
Thank you.
That's, and because we did not get REDIP funding and we didn't get the funding through citizen services, I think it's going to hit about a 1.6.
Thank you. That's perfect.
Any further discussion? Mr. Vandola.
So we've got the projects in alphabetical order here. Is that the priority of each of these projects?
It's not exactly the priority. It's just the way that I went through the existing budget. There's a number of them that there's certain pieces that need to start now in order for us to be able to move forward. For instance, like the new lift station, we need to move forward on the procurement of the FRP tank, or the fiberglass reinforced plastic tank, the pumps, because they're long delivery times. The same thing with the septage receiving station. It's a packaged unit. It takes close to 40 weeks in order for it to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get that in the hopper as quickly as possible so that we can get that done this year. And while it's in the process of being constructed, we can actually prep the site so that it's ready for when it arrives. So that's the big piece on this, is just trying to get the ball rolling to get them out the door, and making sure that we're not going to be delayed by long procurement items.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? That's carried. We have council priorities there, as we do every meeting, to remind us of where we hope to be going. Correspondence, I have the one item under correspondence I asked to be brought up, which was the letter from PNG. And I will just speak to it. It's my hope that council would write a letter to the Utilities Commission commenting on these increases. It's a huge amount of money, and it just feels like, especially with the timing when the carbon tax has just come off their product, that they're trying to maybe take advantage of the timing, right? This is definitely on the radar at the regional district as well, but where I think we could take a more regional approach and look at things, and because there's a huge difference between what we pay for gas with PNG here compared to, say, Prince George with Fortis, and we're not that far away, right? And is the model that's in place right now the right model, and look at that going forward. But for today, I would ask that maybe somebody make a motion that we would write a letter to the Utilities Commission saying that we strongly disagree with this huge increase.
I'll definitely. Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Martins.
Yeah, just reading that letter that we had from Fraser Lake Mayor too, it would kind of follow that kind of suit. And you mentioned the carbon tax. It was a huge percentage. I know my last bill, it was like, I won't give you any numbers, but it was a big percentage of, way bigger than I thought as far as carbon tax goes. And it just feels like increase comes at the same time as their carbon tax loss of revenue. It almost feels like they were getting that money and they're not now.
Exactly.
I mean, that shouldn't have been like that, but I think too, if you think that writing letters, if there's enough people to write the letters, then we should absolutely be strong on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I No, I think we should send one in. Just coming back to that, and 20% and 28%, those are huge numbers year after year, right? Like. Okay, Councillor Franco.
Yeah, just to reiterate the point, maybe to focus on the transitioning economy around our community and that affordability and sustainability are areas to focus in and not 20 and 28% increases.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, with that, we'll go down to councillor items. 9. Let's start with Councillor Frankel.
Move on. Next.
Come to me. Attended a Ministry of Emergency Management and Climate Readiness call with Mayor Moutre. Kind of went, our Assistant Deputy Minister, Rachel Pollard, led that call. Had a seasonal kind of river kind of freshet outlook, and our BC average snowpack was around 79%. So drier than normal conditions, what we've been seeing all along with the information we've been receiving from Rio Tinto and such. Also had a bit of an update from the BC Wildfire Service outlook on what the wildfire readiness and where the areas of concern are. And lo and behold, the two driest areas, what's going to start off with the highest drought codes is in the northeast of the province and in around the Chaco area here. They're the two driest areas around. They started off with, they had 88 cultural burns this last, are going to happen this last year, with 6 cultural burns occurring this year. We also had a bit of a fire, kind of some work up with BC Wildfire Service here at Van Jam, burning a little area around the airport that we had to kind of shut down to send out a notice to airmen that there was going to be smoke in the area for that piece there. And really that's kind of it. They just had other pieces where their response structure capability and where those are all those pieces of equipment are housed. There's only 3 communities in the province that actually hold everything, which makes it a little challenging. There's one regional pre-oc in the north here. I assume it's in Prince George, and then there's one in the interior, one on the coast. So that was kind of a good kind of refresher to kind of, and then plus for me to kind of get to know some of the folks at EMCR. So that was good to hear. Also went into the Mount Milligan biannual meeting in Prince George. It was tentatively was supposed to be held at McLeod Lake, but they didn't have appropriate technology to host it for teams and whatnot, so others could dial in. So they moved the meeting into Prince George, which was pretty well attended there. And we also were lucky to have Carol Samuels to join us as well. Interestingly enough, the Mount Milligan had a kind of a rough quarter at the mine there. They're pulling lots of material out, but the material's not supporting as much ore as they were hoping to get out of the area. The saving grace for them to kind of continue on was the rapid increase in gold prices, which kind of helped, but they were down quite a bit on their volume, so that, which was interesting. They mined 9.6 million tons of material, which was 16% below normal. They processed 5.4 million tons of material, which is 3% below. They extracted 37,600 ounces of gold, which was 38% lower than they normally did for that period of time. And then similarly with copper and other byproducts that they get out of that. One of the interesting pieces was Centerra Gold does a good job of identifying the number of people that are hired from the various communities across our region. They identified Prince George had 147 people work at the mine. Fort St. James has 54, Mackenzie 39, Fraser Lake 39, Smithers 18, Vanderhoof 17, Burns Lake 14, Fort Fraser had 9. So for a little community like Fort Fraser, per capita, they got a really high number there. Telqua 9, Houston 9, and there was 28 others from around. So for me, you know, we have our meetings with our community liaison committee meetings with Artemis Gold. If we have one company such as Centera is able to provide that by community information, surely Artemis Gold could do the same thing. Right now, they're only providing regional kind of information. They've went over a bunch of scholarship information that they have for, especially on the First Nation side. It pretty much wrapped up. It was interesting because Travis, the fellow that's doing is the kind of chairing, was in quite a hockey injury back home. He ended up taking a puck in the face and lost a whole 3 or 4 bottom teeth. And so he was kind of mumbling a bit during the meeting, but he was glad to see that the Leafs had won the game that night. So, and lastly, involved with the community cleanup on Saturday. I found, you know, like we kind of, the area we went to, it's, you know, quite a bit of garbage. Actually, interesting enough, I found $30 in the ditch. So I'm like, what, like, how's this money getting flipped out of a vehicle going by? Anyway, I found a $10 bill and a $20 bill, which we donated back to the cause. But I saw there's quite a few garbage bags full throughout the community, and so it was, my understanding is that the municipal crews would be out picking all that stuff up, so that was good. It was good to get that kind of clean up, and it's really great to see the community get behind that little initiative. So, and that's it for me.
Sounds good. Councillor Bulmer.
So, yeah, I've taken part in that every year, but this year I did have other things planned, so I couldn't take it in this year. I took in the Vanderhoof Chamber of Commerce meeting a couple weeks back, where we've got a very active chamber, and now they've got an actual home. Rio Tinto is going to work with them to stay in the home they're in right now, which is really good. The cardboard seems to be going okay for now. We're gonna feel it out and see how it continues to go on. We've got new members, so, and very exciting things planned for our centennial and for this year coming up as well. So the chamber's going strong. And then this afternoon, or this morning actually, attended the day of mourning for injured and workers for injured and diseased workers in our province, and that over at the fire hall. And that's it for me.
So Martins.
Yeah, really nothing to report at all, so.
Good. Yeah, no, as Councillor Bowman mentioned, the day of mourning ceremony was this morning. It was a good turnout from our crew, and we also had a few others there. We had a regional district meeting last week that became a little more controversial than they normally are under a ticketing bylaw, which was quite interesting. So I'll keep you informed as that moves along, but interesting when you get those reactions. The mayors and chairs call that Councillor Van Dola came and joined me with. My intention will be, when possible, to attend those in chambers here and send the invite out. So don't feel any pressure to attend, but it's opening up. So if you want to learn how those processes work and the information there, everybody can get it at the same time. And it was a quieter 2 weeks for me, so that's all I have to report. It's good. Awesome. So that is the last item on the agenda, so I will declare us adjourned. Let's take 5. Oh, actually, before we go, I'll just mention the chamber, May 8th, is hosting a drought forum. So Rio Tinto, wildfire,